Greetings from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I am Barbara Hall, an assistant professor in the College of Education. I recently swapped my role as research fellow for the College of Education for the program chair of the BA Instructional Design program. I also serve as co-chair of the Discussion Board Task Force and on the Institutional Review Board. But of course, you could have found out all of that in my digital measures or HR profiles. I know that you want to know about our LMFAO group. And it's a virtual water cooler, and we have the same experiences that you do on site. It's really no different, except for it occurs remotely. Just as you bump into one another in the hallways, or you decorate one another's cubicles or offices for birthdays or other celebrations, so do we. We just do it remotely. It's a mix of business and pleasure. Now, I think you know what LMFAO is. What you really want to know is how can you replicate it? Well, one of the reasons we chose to do a video is because you really can't distill what we do into bullet points. You can't also create sort of a boxed program that you then push down into geographic areas to try to recreate what we have with LMFAO. If you look at the work of Jane Bozarth, an international expert in informal or social learning, you'll know that these things have to develop organically. And so you can't recreate it, but you can create opportunities. The quad or CETL is a good start. But there are other things that we have to do, and those are going to require an investment of both time and money. And I know with the budget that's just not a possibility. So we leave it to you to figure those things out in terms of how to pay for them. But you're going to have to pay for people to go to conferences together, to have some of those on-site connections that they then take back to their remote environments, more opportunities to bring people together within their geographic regions. We're grateful that in the College of Ed, that they allow us to count the time when we do actually get together, to count that time as work time on our monthly accountability timesheets. And so that's an example of how you have to invest both time and money to bring people together. And I think that that's really the way you're going to create opportunities for groups like LMFAO to develop organically. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about LMFAO, and have a great day.
Hi there. I get a whole lot out of our LMAO sessions. One of the things I really appreciate is when we share triumphs that we experience, both in the classroom and at home. Just recently we learned that a son of one of our group members just graduated high school. Woohoo! While another LMAO member posted a striking picture of her son that clearly depicts his mom and dad's excellent parenting skills. Great shot. That type of connection acts as a bonding agent, the glue that, well, you know the rest. We've all heard the stories that start off with, "Man, you will not believe this." Well, we share those too. It can be a student's strange or incoherent response to being flagged for plagiarizing, or a student's discussion post that clearly defines what substantive means. These email-based discussions help us realize that we don't have to work in a vacuum. We all face the same challenges, frustrations, and successes. Where would I be without LMAO? Well, I know that my inbox would be a whole lot less cluttered, but my Ashford teaching experience would be much less rich and meaningful as well. So that's a trade-off I can easily live with.
Hello, this is Kathleen Kelly, a full-time faculty member in the BAES program, and I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is part of the lower mid-Atlantic region, or as we like to call ourselves, LMAFO. First of all, I'm very grateful for Dr. Alan Belcher and his persistence in creating this group. When we first started meeting around the water cooler, I was convinced I did not have that extra time to devote to this group. I can tell you now I make time. Why, do you ask? Because teaching in the traditional sense is an isolated profession. Teaching online, in a remote setting, takes isolation to a whole new level. The four of us who make up this group all work for different programs. We all bring to the water cooler a variety of experiences. We each have our own strengths, and we have very organically learned how to make these strengths work together as a team. Around this water cooler, we share our personal trials and tribulations. We all have children, so that's easy, as well as our triumphs and our accomplishments. Although we are all remote, We celebrate graduations, milestones, vacations, charity work, you name it. We also share parenting tips, as well as commiserate with one another when we know there is no solution. We are all colleagues and we are friends. The water cooler has created a professional learning community. Within this community, we share our students' mishaps and their successes. We problem solve difficult situations. Odds are someone in the group has dealt with whatever is brought to the table. We bounce ideas off of one another as well as complain about this, that, and the other thing. But we also offer solutions, suggestions, all in the name of education, all in the name to better ourselves as educators and as people. Our group is now conducting research together. This has been an incredible offshoot of the water cooler. I am learning from the best, and I am taking this new understanding and applying it to other areas of my job. I am grateful to work with such intelligent and dedicated educators. The reason we are successful is because we laugh together, we learn together, and we have fun together. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is Alan Belcher. I'm a full-time remote faculty person in the College of Education. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was interested in connecting more closely with some of my peers because I just felt a bit disconnected since I only talked to people electronically through email. I knew very quickly I needed more of an interaction when I started a couple of years ago with Ashford. I went looking and found that the College of Education had a couple of folks already in North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, and we started communicating by email and decided that yes, we ought to try to make something out of this. We soon began sharing experiences that we had in our classroom, which led to learning a little bit about each other's kids and families. And we have created, I believe, an atmosphere of trust. We can say anything and we know it won't be ridiculed unless, of course, we open ourselves to that ridicule, which we do sometimes. And we know, though, that we can find support when we need it and a good swift kick when that's what we need. And in the finest tradition of higher education, we can discuss topics, agree, disagree, and still respect each other's opinions. It's a high-quality way of interacting positively with peers. Today, for instance, among the four of us, we exchanged a little over 60 emails on a couple of topics. And you're probably thinking, well, golly, do these people do anything else other than email back and forth all day long? Well, each one of those only takes a few seconds to read and respond to. But we know now whose fathers were ministers and deacons. We know what some of us are having for dinner. We know what each of us thinks about the discussion board task force report. And we know that one of our children is being sent off to receive additional training at the school's expense because she's just a great teacher. Could you have done that in 15 minutes?